And welcome to another cute little edition of Judgment Day with me, Matt Rebar, joined by Logan Molnar. How are you, Logie?
I miss my Raina.
I know. Raina is in Wisconsin. She's probably enjoying cheese and cows and I don't know, whatever else is in Wisconsin. The Green Bay Packers. Madison,
that sounds
Wisconsin.
just like her.
Very on brand. So we're going to miss Raina. But we wanted to meet because we want to talk some Halloween. So we're doing season 1 all about Am I the Asshole? And Logan, you did the prep work for us today. So what is the situation?
We got a little more spooky content coming to you. So this one is, I love this prompt so much. It's, Am I the asshole for not wanting my boyfriend's dad to come to a Halloween party?
Oh, okay. Automatically, I'm thinking my boyfriend's dad. So she and the boyfriend that probably got invited to a sexy, cool Halloween party, and bringing the dad is a huge deal breaker. Now, if it's like I don't want to say lame Halloween party, but if it's like grandma with like the pumpkin bread party, then like
little different.
Cares? But let's hear it. I'm going to keep it open mind. Let's hear it.
All right, here we go. I've been dating Nick, 23, for 6 months. We met in the summer, and he's the sweetest and most caring guy I know. We come from pretty different backgrounds, though. My family's generally well off. Both my parents have great jobs, and we have a lifestyle that shows that. Nick is from a few towns over, a very blue-collar, $60K a year type town. I think that's what drew me to him. I'm not really into the rich boys from my area, which I feel like this is super unnecessary. Maybe she thought it was important, but...
Yeah, I'm not seeing the importance of the context, but brag, sweetie. If bragging to strangers that you're dating someone who has money makes you feel better, than you do you. So
he's a blue collar type. Okay.
The collar is just so blue. It's a sapphire blue, and he works hard, and his hands have calluses. Girl, get to the story. What's the issue?
Yeah. Okay, here we go. Okay, I'm gonna skip the rest of that because it's.
Did she write a paragraph about her hardworking man?
Oh, there's 2 paragraphs. Basically, the boys from Nicktown are different. They just get drunk, get loud, and sometimes break things. They're so much fun.
Okay, she's the asshole already for doing that. I'm sorry. This post is supposed to be like, here's the sitch. We don't need to know. We don't need to know about the boyfriend making the money in the blue collar. We don't need to know that.
It's like the Pinterest stories. You're trying to find a recipe, and it's like 10 paragraphs of like, here's the backstory of where I found this recipe.
My great grandmother, had an apple tree in her backyard, and by chance there was a cinnamon tree next to the apple tree, and she made apple pie crumble every year until she died in 1883. And then my mother moved into the house. We don't need.
I just want to read about the apple pie recipe.
I said that great grandma had a pie. Oh my God. We're getting really
here we go.
angry.
I know. I think Raina calms us down.
Your mic level was like pure chaos. I've never heard your mic max out before. We were clearly over it. Okay.
Still trying to figure out this mic. Anyways,
so can you rehash? Okay. How old is she?
I think they're both 23.
23.
And they've been dating for 6 months.
And the dad is the blue collar? No, the boyfriend is.
I mean, he comes from a blue collar town. So like she comes from a well-off town.
It's like Bruce Springsteen. It's like Bruce Springsteen town. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I honestly think I have a real gripe with the situation. Backstory. Nick's dad, Pat, is like part of Nick's friend group. It's strange, and I've never seen anything like it. Pat is just one of the guys. He goes out to the bars, parties at the house, and talks to girls like he's 23, like Nick's other friends. Apparently, he got married young and had kids young, so he never got to have the young adult partying. My good friend is planning on having a Halloween party at her apartment in the nearby big city. It's a bunch of my friends from high school and college that are going to be there. It'll be the first time that they meet Nick and his friends. I told him he could bring the boys. He explicitly told me that had nothing to do that night. So, Halloween party. Nick's invited. First time all the friends are meeting. Nick's friends are allowed to come. Well, the other day, we're talking about these plans and transportation to the city. Nick casually dropped Pat's name when talking about the group. In my head, I was like, oh, God, no, what am I going to do? Because, well, I want everyone to like Nick, but I don't think my friend group really expects a 50-year-old man to be attending the party. I don't want to judge, but I think it's a little or a lot strange that everyone in Nick's friend group thinks it's perfectly normal that Pat is just like a normal part of it. Basically, everyone that I would know would think it's weird that this guy's dad comes out everywhere. And I know they would be like, WTF, when I roll into the Halloween party with Nick, his friends, and his dad. Help me, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to handle this. I can't tell Nick. It's really supposed to be a smaller party for young adults. They might think it's strange if your dad goes, because then Nick will get defensive and say, well, what is Pat supposed to do that night? Sit at home? But like, he's 50, not 23. 23-year-olds tend to not want to party with 50-year-olds. Also, I'm worrying that he's going to creep on my friends. Am I the asshole?
First things, the two things that concerned me, if they were like late 20s and he was in his 40s, that would probably be more sense. But like 23, like you just turned 21, you're still living it up. You're doing bad things. You're regretting everything. You're waking up hungover and still not learning the lesson that you drank too much. That is weird to me. But then two, your dad is in the friend group? How does that even work? Are you like in front of your dad being like, hooked up with this girl last night? Dad, I laid the old 1-2 Smith move on her. Like, what?
That's what it sounds like. She's saying that he talks like he's 23 years old. So I'm assuming that, he's most likely divorced from the mother, because that would be a weird dynamic, I think. And so I'm assuming he's just talking about everything that he does with his, so it feels like a very weird situation. I get people who are close with their parents and like to do stuff with their parents, but they don't need to be everywhere.
Yeah. Well, like I've done like bar crawls with my parents. I've vacationed with my parents as an adult. I've had my friends and parents. We've done like some social stuff together. That is not the same though as like, hey mom, me and my friend group, we're going to go to the bar and like get drunk and like hit on people. Like, no, that's just not it. It just, no, I'm so, and listen, I hate to be Mr. Social, normative over here, but like, why would you want your parents involved in such a intimate, sexy part of your life? Like you're out at the club trying to pick up on Cheryl and dad's right there also picking up on girls. Shut it down. Canceled. Move it to a different country. Burn it. Don't sign the lease. Get it out of the will.
Get it out of here.
I don't want it anywhere. I'm horrified at this situation. But then two, how long have they been dating? She should know by now.
6 months.
Yeah, 6 months. She should know by now, like, okay, the Dan's a package deal. She should have just laid down the law and just been like, it's you and me. Because the second she said it's the friend group and you, she has opened up this umbrella that she got her wet, unfortunately. And another thing that I was thinking of, he's doing what has been done. I don't know if you've been here, Logan. Do you ever have like a friend who like has a boyfriend or girlfriend who you absolutely can't stand? Like just the worst, like the capital, all caps, the worst. I know. I like how we're both like, we're on thin ice.
Maybe. I don't really know.
Or maybe you were the friend. Maybe you were the friend who had a bad boyfriend or girlfriend. And they'll do this thing where you're like, hey, let's hang out. And they're like, sure, where will we go? And they don't specifically say, I'll be there or I will come, because they know they're bringing the worst boyfriend, girlfriend. And then they show up, they roll on in with them. And you're like half surprised, half not. This is the same exact situation where like, I feel like he maybe is aware that she's not like a big keen on this and like purposely didn't really say anything until like, okay, we're a week out. Yeah, dad's coming. And oh my God, there's so many things I could say about this, Logan. I feel so bad. One more thing, and then I'm going to pass it to you.
No, you're totally fine.
The argument too, the key is like, oh, I missed out on my youth. I didn't have a childhood. I get that, but you have to do it with your son. You can't go to the bar with people your own age. You can't go to a bar with a different friend group, a work group. You're telling me there's no one else but your son and his friends, and that you're trying to like assimilate as one of them? That is just #therapy. That is what I mean. It's
really strange.
Worms to me. So, okay, Logan, any of your thoughts?
Yeah, I totally agree. He could even date like a younger woman, if he really wants to feel young again. It's weird relying on his son to be the one who's like, okay, you take me along with everywhere you go and make sure that I'm getting these experiences. I mean, maybe his dad's a cool guy, maybe Pat can hang. But there's just some limits. It's totally weird that he would go to some random 23-year-old's house in the city to hang out. I can subscribe to other instances maybe, but just going to a random person's house feels weird. Someone who's half your age.
I'm just thinking of like all the things that I did when I was 23. Like, so he's at the 2 a.m. Taco Bell pit stop with them. So he's like closing the bar down as everyone, like the 1DD is like wrapping everyone up. Like, it just, how, and then how do the friends, like, I get, it's weird to me that the son wants dad to be there. Like, hey, daddy, come to the club. The friends are okay with it, or do they just don't care? Or are they just like whatevs? Or do they like it?
Pat was probably the cool dad growing up. So he was probably like, yeah, come drink at my house, come hang out. So they kind of probably like grew up with that,
Oh my God.
I don't know.
Oof, Maron.
Do you want to cast your judgment?
She is okay. She's not the asshole, but I will say she should have like phrased it like, hey, you and me are going. She should know that the friend group includes the dad. If she doesn't want the dad around for like, we're meeting my friends, say you and me. Don't open, I don't think she intentionally, obviously, but she left the door open so that daddy could come through. And next time, close the door. Close the door, and then dad can go hang out with the 23-year-olds on his own time. So
left the door open to let daddy come through. I want to get that tattooed on myself.
That's me in bed. That's me like it's 8 p.m. It's like left the door open.
Oh boy.
I know my grandma and mom is proud of what I do. I'm really hoping they skip this one. What do you think? Do you think she's the a-hole for not allowing the dad to come?
I would say not the asshole. And I don't even think that the boyfriend is the asshole necessarily. I think that this is normalized for him for some reason. And,
yes.
I think the dad just needs to get a grip. And I feel like in a certain way, he's holding his son back. He's keeping him immature, because he can't grow up himself.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a great point.
I'm going to say, not the asshole too. But the thread agrees with us. They say not the asshole. The top comment says, this party isn't for parents. Your dad will have to miss this one out. Like, that's such a simple thing that they can communicate. And yes, it's creepy as hell for a 50-year-old to be partying with his son. Someone said, in my opinion, it just sounds trashy. I don't want to get drunk. I don't want a drunk 50-year-old to break shit and just go wild. And knowing that was my dad, I would be embarrassed.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
how is he not embarrassed? How is he not like, oh, this doesn't look good?
Yeah. Could you imagine, like, people take pictures and stuff. People take pictures and stuff and post on Facebook, like all the boys hanging out. And then there's just good old Pat, 50-year-old Pat, just hanging out every single time.
I just think it's also like, it's so creepy, like, and how neither of them realize, okay, you're 23 doing 23-year-old things with a 50-year-old. That just is like, every girl's in that room's like, oh God, like what is like, because no offense, it just feels creepy, even if it's not intentionally creepy. And it sounds like he's like assimilated into the group. So it's not like he's just like chilling with the boys. It's like he's hitting on these girls at these parties and these bars. And like, no.
Yeah.
So.
And again, it's a one person's apartment in the city, so it's going to be a tight enough space. It's not like these girls can just like walk to the other side of the bar if they're feeling uncomfortable. They're just stuck at this party with this man twice their age trying to talk to them about college. Like, I don't know. And you're like, how's Medicare, Medicaid, whatever. Like,
and I mean, and like another thing, I really want to know what the son's thinking. Like, why is he okay with this? Why does he not say anything? Does he feel bad for his dad? Because I don't care if he feels bad. The dad needs to get his own life. I mean, there was a whole episode of The Golden Girls about this, where Dorothy was dating a man and Sophia was feeling down. And so Dorothy and her man take Sophia out for dinner, and then it becomes this regular thing. And Dorothy got broken up with by the guy because he's like, I'm dating you, not your mom and you. So he left.
Yeah.
And it was a whole lesson. And then Sophia met friends and she got to go to the Poconos or something. And he needs to go. Dad needs to go. So
I'm excited to see an update in like 6 months, because at that time it'd be a year of dating. See if they're still together. See if Pat's still around. So
I know Halloween's about spooky ghouls and ghosts, but this really is a horror story. This was, I mean, frightening, just at least. So
terrifying.
I mean, if I woke up to my closet and there's a 50-year-old guy trying to hit on 23-year-olds, that might be creepy. That might be a little too much. So
I would take Michael Myers over this.
Well, thanks for another rousing Halloween edition of Judgment Day. We'll see you next time. Peace out.
Bye.
Judgment Day is a podcast by Starbolt Studios. Judgment Day is executively produced by Matt Rebar, Logan Molnar, and Raina Budel. For more awesome content, just go to starboltstudios.com or on their Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter page.